I'm taking this video to show you how to take apart your marker. I usually start with a Phillips because the only two Phillips on here. Put that down, and everything else will be Allen wrenches from here. That's how you take it apart. You got to punch down real hard on it. I do everything by hand. What I've got to do here is going to take the valve out of that valve spring out of that one, because it's the 3/4 inch lighting spring, and we got a 1-inch lighting spring here, and the weight of this bolt is just not enough to trigger enough air to get it up to the right speed. So I put the maximum amount of spring I could on the back side of it, and it's not enough, so you got to lighten up the other side of the spring, which would be the valve spring, which is the most inconvenient part of this marker to work on. So this part of the plan, so we'll just go with that. Set that off this side there. Okay, and we got one more here. Make sure that bolt and nut thing won't fall off there, because it's not held in there like the other one, just rounded off. And those two nuts from the other side will just drop off when you take it off on this side. You gotta take here, loosen that up and get it out of the way so you can get into that one. Take this one out, and this one will come out pretty easy. The other one is pretty long and it does not like to come out, but that's okay. Just leave it in there. Yeah, these are real hard to start. It sucks to do, but it works real good. Just sit that right there. Now, that is everything on the chassis except for the epoxy here. I got to break loose. That's right. I gotta get this one here too. I couldn't take that one apart till I got that ASA off there. That drop board hold that thing together. There's a hole in this one here for it to get through, so you don't have to take off the handles. It's really kind of cool. Yeah, that popped apart just like I wanted it to. There's. Alright, very gently set that over there. I like to go ahead and just drop the screws out of it. Make sure you got everything all in one pile. Your hardware right there. There. And that little guy right there. And that little guy right there. Now you gotta grab your springs before they go flying. Especially this air spring. It really likes to take a trip. And you go spring here. You just lift that up. That'll come right out. And one thing I had to do, let me show you here, is this plunger inside here was not deep enough for the spring to bottom out on. It was like on a flare, and it would bottom out and wrinkle up the spring. And I ruined one spring when I first put it together, before I realized that. And I could tell the depth of the little wooden thing here, it was down that far, but the spring would only go in about that far, and it wrinkled up, so I had to drill that out to make that bolt work. So that was another real pain in the ass. Had to go through and figure out why was it doing it. Another little thing inside here, I'll show you on these Chinese power tubes here. They are not real friendly to specs. They don't seal it real good on the power tube itself. You can see on the first video, right around here, air was blowing out. That's what you saw come out of the bottom of it, was a plumbing tape that I had around here. The extra excess inside here got blown off. So much blow by was going out of here instead of down the tube. I'll show you what I had to do here after I get all this out the way. Out the way here. Let me get these off. Take a second with these things here. Never want to over tighten these things. And once I get everything tuned up, I'll put Loctite on it. Blue Loctite, not the red Loctite. Always blue Loctite on these, but they do need Loctite. I put a second screw, as you saw up there in the front, to make sure that handle never comes out and have a problem. And need a flathead now. Put this off here, because that does get in the way. You don't want to scar it up anyways. It's nice and pretty red. You gotta poop, drop it right out of there. Alright. That's what your whole assembly looks like right there. And I'll show you what I had to do to seal that up to keep that from losing air, because that's air efficiency. That's you're losing that pressure is lost down here, so projecting it forward. There's more air you have to use out of your tank, and that's not the purpose of this gun. To keep up the speedball gun, you got to be efficient and fast. What you got to do here is come in with a pair of vice grips and make sure you're not going to spin and hit this little creature right here. You get real close to that. Grab hold of that. And spin. You put enough tape on this so that you can just go on and off as long as you don't over tighten it. You get it to the right thread. You'll see it's a perfect alignment on it, and I'll just leave that like that because I don't need to get into that anymore today. Also, another thing you want to watch out for is little hairy things from the old plumbing tape. We'll get on there and get up inside the valve and keep it from sealing. An easy way to pop out this creature here. I'll show you. Kind of do it slow so I don't mess up my seals. There it goes. Alright, yes. And you see right here, this is electrical tape. Yes, electrical tape. I had to use for a sealant to keep the air from going around this, all this, and escaping right here, instead of going around the tube and out the front of this. That's where your air needs to go down to hit the ball instead of at the bottom of it. It's just a loss of air, and I had to put more tape on over here on this side as a spacer, you might say, to force that seal up against that inside here. That's the problem with these Chinese tubes. They're not really good on that side of the seal, and it's a lot of loss there, and everything has to be tuned right. This part's sealed good, but this end of it is not sealed good, and that's just as important to get everything tuned right. Now, I gotta get inside here. And this is my special pair of snap ring vice grips, you might call them. This I replaced the standard rings with one of these, so you can get in there. You very carefully set that down. I just pop that out, and that's the lighting spring. You can see on the factory one here. back ring that's inside there. You see the amount of coils are different. That's how you know this is a medium pressure spring, not a low pressure spring. This one's in the 600 psi range, and you want to be around the 400 round psi range, which I have inside here. So let me get this one out, and I'll show you the difference. This is the valve that was going to go in mine. See, this is even shorter. This is around the 400, real low pressure, real low use, most efficient spring, and that's what you're gonna get inside yours. And make sure everything around here, there's no trash on that seal. There's nothing down there either. Drop that in. Put that on the back side of it. Get it down in there. Make sure you don't get some little grease inside that valve. Around inside there nice and smooth, and it doesn't rust up or anything. And so it's all good there. Make sure that's a good O-ring in there. Sure it's good lube there, and then both sides. It's always good to have a little grease when you do push this one in, because you can cut that neoprene in this one. You always got to have neoprene around the super cold areas. Drop that back in there. What I love about these things, you can see how old they are and how valuable they are. When I saw these at the garage sale, I snagged them immediately. It was real good for doing that piece right there. Make sure that's seated in real good. This guy here. There's a snap. They call them snap rings. Now we are set to go back into the tube. Okay. And let's set that, line that up. You can see how that makes a seal on there. That's basically pushing that side over on this area here, so it won't air go past that. Push it in real slow, wiggle a little bit if you have to. You can get it down in there, move it around to this line back up. Make sure your screws are kind of lined up there. Easiest way to do that is take one of these screws here. And you start it in there real gently. You wiggle it back and pull it till you feel it starting. And you can wiggle around till you see that centered up. When you start it in there like that, then it's good enough to get started on the gun. Like that. That's good. Alright, now I gotta wrap this again. Get all the old crap off of it so it won't go blowing out like you saw in that first video of the shooting. This is what basically was coming out, is this stuff here. It's unused. You don't get all that out of there, so it won't end up in the valve. Get a good fresh end on it so it's nice and square. You always go in the same direction that you're spinning it on. So at the end of it, it's like a flap that comes off. You see how I'm holding it on there? I'm stretching it a little bit to get it into the threads just right. just right with the edge and wrap it down. Doesn't matter how it folds on there. Feel it start getting snug, and you start lining up, and that's when you want to stop. You got a good seal there. It's not perfect, but it doesn't really have to be at this point. Just set up your chassis. Main point is you don't want to go too far. Because then that ruins the... Had those on there good. Then you'll ruin the seal on it. You have to retape it. Let me put this back together real quick. Through the spring in here. Side there. Mess with that right now. Okay, now assembly procedure. You gotta make sure all crap is clear of debris. If you have your everything where it's supposed to be, you have a toothbrush right here. It is. Anything that slides got to be nice and pretty. Okay. All right. Valve assembly and everything here goes in first. So it came out last. Kind of wiggle that in there. Go drop in. Alright, now we start off with the stubbies. That magnet works really damn good for holding the screws if you want to put it someplace. If you ever want to find something you're looking for, that's usually where it'll be stuck to that spring. That's why you can't find it. Yeah, it started in there. And really make sure. Give it some wiggle when you start it in. Make sure those threads are in the right place. They're not cross-threading. You feel it starting to bind up. You got to give it wiggle to it. And it looks flat when it goes in. And the threads are right. Like that. You might give it too much of a snug right now. So you're winding everything up. These of all the things you had to put in here, these are the ones most crucial. You really got to watch where you wind it on. Use your eyeball on. Just make sure they're going in flat and straight. Tighten that back and forth a little bit. Make sure they're good and snug. And you see across there. You got the threads on there. They'll work, line up. And then get you a nice even gap across there. You know how much of a pain in the butt it is to get that alignment across there. So you get on the right threads, and that's how you know it's on the wrong thread. That alignment inside there will be off. The gap will not be even. Yeah, you start off my pins. They usually don't go anywhere. They stay in there the best. Drop the trigger on there. it doesn't like to pop out anywhere. The springs are what you need to do last. Here, make sure you got your dart pin. Alright. Where's that pin? Sear pin. It's stuck. There it is. Okay. Yeah, stuck the damn magnet. Like I said, if you're ever looking for something before you can't find, it's usually stuck to that magnet. It's not your standard magnet either. This thing's like super strong. You can see a lot of them I've tried to use, and they're just not, doesn't operate the same as the one that comes from Tippmann. I can tell this is a tip one because they had a little green pad on it there. Grabs it really fast. Make sure we can see it back in. Drop that guy down in there. Make sure. First, I like to get a fresh some grease on that. Spots where it rides. Oh, it doesn't really stick to that good. Then it needs a little bit of lube there. Always helps. If I'm going to do one side, I usually try to make sure I do the other side to make sure I don't forget. When I go to assembly it, so usually I forget. Everybody doesn't lube the top side. So I need a couple drops in there. Spread that around the side there. A little bit on that side of the chassis where the trigger and sear is going to be at. Just a little bit up here, so you can see all that's nice and pretty and stuff. And clean the crap out of that too. And just get in here. In here. Alright, so that's set and ready to go. Get back on. And now, trigger spring stays in there pretty good on this one. Take a flathead like this. You set it in the hole on the trigger. You can see it on the bottom side here. There's a little recess right in there. That's a spring catcher. That's what it's called. And you make sure the spring is on the side. Over there on the top, on the trigger itself first. You see it there. It's a little tight area. I know you can't see what I'm doing here, but you can take it apart, you see what I'm talking about. And once you hold that there, take the flathead on this side, push the spring up until it drops down in there. Make sure you get out the loops in there. You gotta keep your finger on it. Make sure it's seated good, because that thing will fly across the room. That's the bitch part about the 98s. Okay. And get your detent there. And we got our sear spring here. Just set that in there for right now. Make sure I got everything else in place before I do that, because that's like the final piece. Make sure this is back in there in place. Scrunch and spring that was in there. And that goes in the front side here. I put a little oil on that too. In. That goes in. That goes in. And that goes in. show you bolts forward now. And it's on there. Good. You just take the top. All these pins are in. And that's in the way. Trigger looks good. Everything should drop right down. Once you get it down, just use the start with that one right there. And it holds the whole trigger group and all the electronics, everything together, and it's easy to get to. And that's not the right one for that. And it is a shiny one. Yeah, you gotta put a shiny one where the shiny ones go. That's why I left that one dark like that, because it does matter. Okay. And now she's back again. That's how it does.